Hey everybody, it's me, Daniel, and we are back with week 3 of our series on peace. Guys, peace is proving that you care more about each other than winning the argument. And this is so challenging, right? We have conflict with our friends sometimes, with our family, with our kids at school. Everywhere we go, if we're not careful, we can have conflict. But God wants us to show that we care more about other people than winning an argument or being right all the time. I know this is really tough for me. I hope that you guys are learning a lot about peace and what it means to be peaceful. Let me ask you guys a question. Have you guys ever had a fight or a competition or a series of pranks that just seems to go on and on and on forever, right? When I was young, my friends and I would prank each other all the time, and I had these really good friends that decided to put a bunch of Post-it notes all over my car. Now, when I say a bunch of Post-it notes, what I mean is they put like over 500 Post-it notes, probably close to 1,000 Post-it notes, and covered my car. I was inside, I was sleeping, and I woke up in the morning. It had been raining all night after they had done this, and so they got all mushy, and I spent my entire morning picking up wet paper all off of my car, and I was angry. So I decided that I wasn't gonna let them get away with it. So what I did is I got a group of friends together who were mutual friends, and we went and we toilet papered this guy's house, and we got it with a lot of toilet paper, not just 1 roll, 2 rolls, 3 rolls, not 10 rolls, not 20 rolls, but guys, we had like over 50 rolls of toilet paper, and we just covered this house in toilet paper. And now then he responded with more pranks, to which I responded to him with more pranks and more pranks and more pranks. And guys, it went on forever, to a point where my parents were like, Daniel, this has to stop. We've helped you clean up your car. We've helped you clean up the lawn. We have helped, do all of these things. And it needs to stop right now. There has to be peace in this prank war. Guys, if we're not careful, if we decide to retaliate and retaliate and retaliate, things can go on forever. Prank wars, fights, whatever. It can go on forever. And God wants us to have peace. Today, we're going to hear a story in the Bible from the book of Genesis about a man named Isaac. Now, that name might sound familiar to you. He was the son of Abraham. Now, Abraham met God, and God made him a promise. He said, I'm going to make you the father of nations. And that promise seemed too big for Abraham to understand. He said, how can I be the father of nations? I don't have any kids. But then God promised him that he and his wife would have a son and have kids. And Abraham laughed. He thought it was the funniest thing. He said, I'm very old. There's no way I'm going to have a kid. But sure enough, God kept his promise and gave them a son named Isaac. Now, Isaac, as he grew up, God made the same promise to him. You will lead a nation, and the number of the people in that nation will rival the stars. Think about how many stars there are. That's a big promise. And if we know anything about God, it's that God always keeps his promises. And so God made a promise to Isaac that he was going to take care of him, that he was going to help him lead a nation of people called the Israelites. Now, as Isaac grew up into adulthood, he lived in the land of the Philistines, okay? And now during this time, he lived there. There was a famine going on, which means they didn't have much food, and they couldn't grow food, okay? So there were a lot of people, and they were struggling to eat. They were struggling to have enough food for everybody to eat, and that was leading to a lot of big problems. But God was with Isaac. And so God actually helped Isaac grow his cattle, right? Grow all of his livestock, grow his cows, his chickens, all of that, grow his food that was coming up from the ground. And Isaac was digging wells and getting fresh water. Now, in a land that didn't have much fresh water, much fresh food, and the livestock was in small numbers, this was a big deal. And so the people of the Philistines got really jealous of Isaac. So what they did is they came and they took a bunch of dirt and they filled in the well. Okay? They covered the well so Isaac couldn't use it anymore. He couldn't get water out of it. And he needed that water to help the crops grow, to feed his livestock, to feed his animals. And so Isaac, if he weren't thinking peacefully, he would have gone and just retaliated. He would have done something to them. But guess what he did? He just moved further down and dug another well. And sure enough, guys, there was water. Okay, so he was thriving, he was eating, he was growing, God was with him. And then the Philistines got really, really upset again. And so they came and they said, "This is our water." And even though Isaac knew that it was his, he just decided, you know what? I'm going to act peacefully. Okay, you can have it. I'm not going to fight with you. I'm going to move. And so guess what? Isaac moves again. And he digs another well. And then they try and come and shut that down. And then he digs another well. Guys, think about all of these times that Isaac is moving and people are getting jealous and taking what's his and claiming it's their own or covering it because they were upset that God was providing for Isaac. And eventually Isaac moves and he digs a well and he's living and he's eating and he's successful and God is with him. And then the king comes, okay? The king, the ruler of the land of the Philistines comes and he talks to him. Can you imagine how Isaac must have felt? He was like, oh no, they're gonna come and try and claim this well too. They're gonna say that this is theirs, even though it's not. And the king says to him, clearly God is with you. We have upset you and we want to make a peace treaty with you. Can you imagine how Isaac must have felt coming to him? You have taken all of my wells. You've claimed that I've been stealing from you when none of this has been true, and now you want to have peace? Why would I ever sign this peace treaty? You see, but Isaac knew that God wanted him to live in peace with the people around him. And so he decided not to fight, not to retaliate, but he said, you know what? We will have peace. If you guys have peace with me, I will have peace with you, because that is what God wants. Guys, Isaac knew that he should care more about the people around him than winning a fight or winning an argument. He knew he didn't do anything wrong. He knew that God was going to be with him wherever he went. And so Isaac showed our bottom line today, that show you care more about other people by walking away from the fight. Guys, when we experience life, there's going to be conflict after conflict with our friends, with our family, with kids at school, with our coaches, with our teachers. Guys, we need to show that we care about those people by walking away from the fight, by choosing to be peaceful, okay? I want you guys to practice that this week. When you feel like you're anxious or angry or mad and you want to retaliate, show that you care about those people by walking away from the fight. Guys, I want you to think about that this week, and I'll see you next time.